Hi, it's Kieran here, and I'm in Belfast today on Queen's University campus, and I'm showing footage here of a recent expose by Surge Activism Group, which looks into how turkeys are kept and how they are slaughtered. So it's very poignant in the build-up towards Christmas, and yeah, I'm going to be interviewing some people, showing them this footage and seeing what they make of it, and ask them, are our traditions more important than our ethics? Yeah, thank you for watching the whole thing. Obviously, not looking away from that, even if it might be quite graphic footage, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, it's quite pertinent as well with it being in the build-up to Christmas. It's obviously a big tradition to eat turkeys at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Do you think our traditions are more important than the ethical values we hold?
I think traditions are important in a way because they're kind of cultural stuff, but I think change is good, and change for the better is obviously the best. So naturally if people stop eating all the meat and stuff, they're gonna get healthier, and then new traditions can be made and stuff as well. But you're not even taking away some of the traditions of Christmas are just getting together as a family and giving presents or receiving presents and just seeing family members you wouldn't normally see. So that's what I really think more about Christmas rather than the actual food. The food's just part of it, but it's not it is the main part for obviously some people. But if there's something else, if you have if you just have a special meal with your family, that's just that could be your Christmas dinner. It doesn't have to be turkey and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, a big part of Christmas is bringing people together and celebrating happiness, really.
Yeah.
We threw around this phrase at Christmas time, peace on earth. Do you think that can extend to non-human animals?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I don't animals are literally we're all the same. They're just animals and we're just people, but we all have a heart and a brain, and we all have feelings and stuff. So I just I don't know why it wouldn't extend to animals either.
Of course, so obviously non-human animals have a similar experience to us in that they are sentient. They have an experience of pain and suffering. So we kind of see animals in the large cultural framework that they're different to us, and that there's more difference between us than there are similarities.
Yeah.
I see it slightly different. I think because we have this experience of pain and suffering, and we all want to essentially live free from exploitation. There's more that brings us together than there is that separates us.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
I agree, because we all know what pain's like. So why is pain that an animal experience different from a human? Because everyone experiences pain, but I just feel people just forget that animals have feelings and stuff and feel pain.
Sure. Yeah, so thank you so much for having a look at that. It's obviously not very easy to watch.
No, pretty hard, but to be honest, it's we're mostly vegetarian. My family's pretty much nearly vegetarian anyway. We eat a bit of meat, I eat a bit of fish, but outside of that, we're mostly vegetarian, and we don't really have turkey on Christmas Day. I can't remember the last time we had turkey on Christmas Day. But that's fucking brutal, man. That is horrible. Horrible. I've seen some footage like that before, but Jesus, that's rough.
Yeah.
Really, that when they put them in the cones, that shit's horrible. Really bad.
Yeah, with, literally no chance of escaping as well. It's the only thing they can do is to bleed out to death, and that's horrific, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, how do you feel watching stuff like this?
Well, apart from a little bit ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no way for any animal to live.
Sure. And this is so turkey's an ingrained thing surrounding the whole tradition of Christmas.
I don't understand it. We don't eat turkey on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we did. my granny and stuff, they're a bit more traditional. They want turkey on Christmas Day, but I don't get the hype. And we're mostly vegetarian anyway. Most of the nights of the week we're eating veggie or even vegan some nights. So yeah, but seriously, awful, awful.
Do you think there's any way that anyone could morally justify what we do to these animals?
No way. There's no. You couldn't. No. You couldn't watch that and say that I'm justified. Well, no way. Yeah.
Seems pretty clear, right?
Yeah.
We can also talk about how we view certain animals differently to other animals. Like in our culture, we absolutely adore dogs and cats, whereas in other cultures, it's kind of a tradition to eat cats and dogs. But we would look at that in our country and think, yeah, this is bizarre.
I don't understand like why things are like, because do you ever see those videos where like people are like hugging cows and stuff, because but you wouldn't like think, oh, I'm gonna go hug a cow, because like, but you'd hug a dog but you wouldn't hug a cow. I'm just rambling, but like, yeah, I guess it's just, yeah, I don't know, you see animals differently, but they actually are just all one.
Sure. And a big part of that as well, I believe, is that because we breed farm animals into this world for like the sole purpose of like raising them for meat or milk or whatever, we exploit them. We don't really let them live free, right? And if we did, then perhaps we'd see the same qualities as we see in cats and dogs. Like cows are very sociable animals, the same as pigs, and once we actually set them free and give them sanctuary, we start to understand that there isn't really that much different between them and a dog. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree. Because I feel like the environments that they grew up in is just like, it's not natural and it's not like normal. So then they're not going to behave the way a normal cow would behave or like a normal turkey would behave, because they're like not experiencing like a normal life. They're just, it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know an example actually, but yeah, I think I would agree.
Sure. If I were to say that there is cruelty behind all animal-based products, so milk, cheese as well, how do you react to that?
Well, I mean, I know, I understand that there's cruelty behind all animal-based products, like mass-produced like that. There's no non-cruel way to do that, but I suppose it's just paying more attention to what you consume and trying to cut down on things like that. But yeah,
sure.
But I understand like how bad it is. I suppose that's bad of me to keep going, but yeah.
See, if I was to speak my own mind, I would say that dairy products are actually more cruel than meat, perhaps. My reasoning behind that is because not only are all dairy cows eventually slaughtered at the end of their lives for meat anyway, but they also go throughout their entire lives through like a system of oppression. So if you take the example of dairy cows, obviously a cow has to be pregnant to produce milk, and what would normally be done for this is the artificial insemination of them. So a farmer would inject bull semen into the cow's vagina, and part of this process involves the farmer sticking their hand inside the anus.
My family come from, my mom's side's farming background. I've seen it before. I know how it goes down.
Yeah. So, would you agree that's a cool thing to do?
I mean, I don't think it's the right thing to do, but it is cruel. The artificial insemination, there's not much to be said about that. It's not right.
And of course, when the cows do eventually give birth, they have their calves taken away from them, normally within about 48 hours of them being born, so that we can take that milk for human consumption.
On bigger farms, I think that's maybe true, but on smaller farms, like the farm that I know, it wasn't like that. They weren't taken away from their mother that quick. But yeah, I suppose on bigger farm, more mass producing farms and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sure, but I guess like with any consumption of milk, kind of have to acknowledge that this is not a fluid which is produced for human consumption.
It's a growth hormone.
Yeah, and it's the same for human beings as well. Like a human mother would breastfeed their child, and that's what they produce milk for. So I feel as if with that we are, exploiting these animals for these products when really we don't have to. We have a lot of plant-based alternatives like oat milk, soy milk, almond milk, which obviously aren't products of this oppressive system, and they are actually more environmentally friendly as well. Have you considered like?
I've tried soy milk before. It's fine. Oat milk I didn't particularly like, but soy I can drink. So take soy with coffee sometimes.
Sure.
Like for example, I picked up some eggs there earlier in the week. It was just obviously student life, trying to get the cheapest possible. I picked them up, paid like $1.30 in Tesco for them, and then when I brought them home, like it said like these are from caged hens, and I felt like a wee bit grum about it. Like I was like, oh, shit, an extra couple of pence, like it really wouldn't have made much of a difference to me, but like kind of supporting that, it's not good. Like personally, like I enjoy animal products. I'm drinking a milk tea now, like eggs, meat, it's great, but if unnecessary cruelty is never right for any reason, so for a couple of p, why not get something that's a little bit more ethical?
Sure. So we talk about like the marketing of products, how you obviously picked up these eggs and it said they're from caged hens. That's obviously an ethical issue as well in how animals are kept in cages. But a lot of egg products are marketed as like free range, and when we pick this up, we obviously read that, and that tells us that these products are somehow more ethical. But when we look at the kind of system of that as a whole, we have to appreciate that even in what we would classify as ethical eggs,
relatively speaking, it's not even that ethical.
Yeah,
like you're choosing a lower tier of abuse, but you are ultimately still consuming something that ultimately to meet the demands that we have for the meat and the animal products we want. It's never going to be fully ethical. However, it's just the two sides of the argument. Everyone wants their meat, their burgers, their as I said, still sipping away on this milk here, but like realistically, it's up to the producers, factories like that to not have systematically unethical like production of this. Like they're definitely like Jesus using traffic cones there. Like come on, there's bound to be a better way than that. Like what the hell's a traffic cone doing in a factory anyway? Like
of course, yeah, but obviously any kind of animal-based product, there is a matter of exploitation in that. Now we can try and argue that, let's say, a dairy cow might live a good life, and that therefore justifies our consumption of milk. But would you agree that maybe like the exploitation of an animal as a basis is an unethical thing to do? Do you think they deserve the right to live their lives out free from exploitation?
See, if there was an easy answer to that question, there isn't really one. Like ultimately, like cows, as I said, relatively in the tiers of how terrible it is for animals. A dairy cow has a relatively good life, but like I suppose a dairy cow, from the human point of view, is only alive because of what it can bring, its milk. Otherwise, it wouldn't be kept. Humans seem happy enough to destroy animals and habitats anywhere else. So the only reason why the dairy cow's there is to give the milk, and if it wasn't giving the milk, well, you see what happens to a cow if it's not producing milk after a while. It's not going to be there long. So is it right? No, but we're not exactly merciful creatures all the time. It's just the reality of the situation. We're not. If it's not doing anything for us, we're unlikely to keep it around. It's just pretty screwed up when you think about it, but what do you do?
Yeah, of course. Has watching this video made you think about animal foods in general?
Yeah, they always do, and yeah, because then you'll be sitting and you'll be eating your Christmas dinner, but you'll be like, well, I saw that video and I know actually where this come from, and it puts me off. So the videos are kind of grim to watch, but I think they're needed, because it's there's no point sugarcoating what actually happens, because that's just lying sort of to people. But yeah, it does make me think about my life choices.
Sure. And we're stuck in this tradition of eating animals at Christmas time, or throughout the whole year as well. But we call it a time of peace, love and compassion, and I just believe that we should extend that to all animals as well. But yeah, so obviously the video you watched was about turkeys being reared and slaughtered in the build up towards Christmas. So I guess the big question to ask is, firstly, do you think our traditions should justify the immoralities which we enact?
That's a tough question. Everyone, nearly everybody I know is big on getting the Christmas turkey, but obviously that is the demand. So all these turkeys are dying to meet that demand. Is it realistic to expect people to change? I don't know. I think provisions of good alternatives and maybe starting new traditions, of the Christmas corn turkey might not be a bad way, but is it right that these turkeys are being treated that way? Definitely not. The imagery I seen there was fairly, as I said, horrifying, but I don't know if it's definitely not an easy thing to ask people to change, and there's certainly many totally unethical traditions out there that seem really impossible to tackle. Don't know if the Christmas turkey would be top of my list for the worst things that are traditions that are ongoing in mankind, but I suppose it is something that we have a responsibility to evaluate. Is it fair? Not really.
A few words we chuck around at Christmas time are words like love, peace and compassion, and I take a slight issue with things like that when we're talking about having a dead animal corpse at our table, right? I feel as if we should be extending our compassion further towards non-human animals, especially at Christmas time. But do you think we should be considering these animals? If we're talking about peace on earth, does this extend to them as well?
I think it should, but it doesn't, and I don't know if it's easy to. It's easy for me to say absolutely yes, we should be treating turkeys with the same love that would be expected to extend to our fellow man and all that on Christmas, but I think things like traditions, they're so inbuilt into our hearts and minds that I think the imagery of Christmas, a stark contrast, the imagery of the turkey in the factory with its dismembered head lying on the floor. you know, the imagery of Christmas is that of, you know, everyone gathered round, I suppose, as a family, more than just of the turkey in the middle. But I don't know if it would be really the same if the Christmas turkey wasn't there. But is that fair? No, it's not.
Sure. Yeah, in response to that, I'd argue that maybe we don't even have to break traditions that much in order to, you know, to abstain from having animal products on our table, especially at Christmas time. And I'll give the example of a Christmas dinner I recently had with my housemates. And what we did, instead of eating turkey, we had a nut roast, right? So obviously we chucked in a load of nuts, vegetables like carrots and leeks, stuff like that, and it was completely vegan, right? And it was honestly one of the best Christmas dinners I'd ever had, and it was incredibly tasty as well. So yeah, I feel as if like the Christmas tradition doesn't even need to be pushed that far in order for it to be compassionate.
I suppose it doesn't really matter what's on the table.
Well, I actually have a card here for you. If you're interested in researching a little bit more, I've got some documentaries on here. So, like Cowspiracy, which is on Netflix, that goes into like the environmental impact of animal agriculture. Again, how it's like one of the biggest producers of greenhouse gas emissions globally. Dominion as well is on YouTube, and that goes into like the ethics of animal agriculture, similar stuff which you just watched, how animals are reared and how they're slaughtered, etc. We also have a vegan 22 challenge here, and this you can sign up for free, and you'll receive like all the support that you need. So that's nutritional support, that's you get assigned a mentor to like help you along the way, and the idea behind that is that if you can try veganism for 22 days, you'll probably find that you might not want to turn back.